Give or take a second.
Okay, we should be good to go.
So weird. They're on top of my car.
Who's gonna violate our first copyright claim? There we go. We're live. Welcome to a brand new episode of whatever the hell we're still calling this thing. I am your host, Jay Fry, and with me tonight is Josh. How's it going, Josh?
It's going pretty well. How about yourself?
Pretty. I'm okay. Raggle.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
That's right. Sean.
Hello.
Hello. And our special guest today, Sarah G. How's it going, Sarah?
Just walking.
It is going great. No complaints.
Excellent. If you feel like it later, you can make up a complaint. We can talk about it. We're cool with that. We will be getting sidetracked often as we. What are you doing, Fraggle?
Yeah. Well, I mean, do you really want to know?
No.
As long as it's not an emergency bunk session, then yes.
The good old emergency bunk session.
You didn't share anything worthy of that, so it's not that.
I don't know about that. We have another coronavirus-filled week, so we have nothing to talk about.
Have you
Sarah,
guys heard
getting
anything
on the
about
mic.
shooting in Canada?
We yeah. So apparently, this guy, 51 years old, by the way, so not a kid, donned what was a mock RCMP, Royal Canadian Mounted Police, uniform, and he did up a cruiser as well for this.
Dudley do wrong.
Oh dear God, that is. I'm gonna go with totes and approps for that one, but yeah. Like,
Is there any word as to the motivation yet?
no, we don't have that, but we do have a lot of effort being put in for a guy going house to house to slaughter some people. He does have 18 deaths, but that is including him, so 17 plus 1.
You always forget the one in the chamber.
Oh, there we go. Copyright claim.
Uh-huh.
Thanks, Josh.
Welcome. Thought I had my mic on mute. Sorry.
You did not. Like some people do. You didn't.
You can blame the girlfriend. She sent me a video.
I'm blaming you for not getting to your phone faster. So they had to. It was such a good mock-up that they had to issue the car number that he was using for the actual RCMP to stop his car.
Damn.
You know.
No, Maynard Crow, we're not that popular, but I appreciate the thought.
What I miss?
In the chat, Maynard Crow is probably only aware of us because Matt was on last week, so he was expecting more people to show up, but he's the only one. At least so far.
That wasn't last week, but okay.
Well, you know what I mean.
I mean, we're pretty popular, but that's in our own minds. So
Is it so bad?
Maynard throwing out the Uncle
Hey,
A
so-
birthday references.
I was hoping to get rolling really quick. I'll commandeer this vessel if that's all right. I'm gonna be hopping off to finish making dinner for my husband. But I wanted to just throw something out to you guys. I'm not sure if Raggle brought it up or not yet. But one of the things that I'm constantly chewing over these days is just about like where the country is going. And I wasn't sure if he, let you guys know that that's kind of what I was thinking of, but it's a big topic. It's a heavy one and it requires, a little bit of chewing over. I was wondering if you guys had any thoughts about that, specifically where you see the country going and if you like that direction it's going in. So, Jay Fry, can you start off?
Yeah, sure. Um, here's the thing: when you're looking at anything with that takes like a broad view or a wide view, there are definitely themes that they want you to follow, but it's not necessarily going to happen that way. For instance, Trump came out and gave the statement: "We will be issuing how we want the breadth and scope of the restarting the country to take place." But the governor of Georgia came out, Brian Kemp, and was like, "Nope, we're starting Friday." So while Trump wants a 2 week, 2 solid weeks of declining numbers that will restart anytime there is a bump in numbers, Kemp is just throwing open the doors right this second. And things
Right.
like that the balls and the chutzpah to do something like that could aid other states. Georgia was relatively unaffected. Tennessee unaffected. Alabama. The only one really in the South was Florida that had the beaches. And if you look at the Florida map, it's only the beaches. And Louisiana that centered around a large black population within the state. So they could see the balls of Kemp being laid out, and they'll follow that path as opposed to a path laid out. But we just, with this virus, the last path that the country was on, mega cities, taking away cars and putting in huge public transports, and just stacking people on top of people and taking away their free movement and association. These things have been brought to a dead halt. Globalism in America will be entirely thwarted because of this virus, and they have been working on that for 30 years. So
I think so, huh?
I'd say closer to 40.
well, yeah, I mean, now that you mentioned it, yeah, I would say since 78, really.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
here, I fucked up. I should have specified. I was talking more like in a larger sense, like culturally. Like, where do you think the country is heading, like has been heading, and do you like that? I wanted to jump in right there because what you said about people kind of maybe going by example based off of Kim's action is something that I was going to get to, because I think that if we want to see the country move in a specific direction, not even just with the virus, but as a cohesive unit, we have to kind of embody the things that we want to see. And so I was curious about you all and what you guys would like to see in the country's future, and if there are things you're doing to reflect that and implement things in your life that you would like to see other people maybe emulate.
oh, I
I would say that this is going to be a big push for more individualism, and that's sorely needed. We have gone down, especially in the last 20 years, too much of a road of socialism, for lack of a better term. More and more reliance on social structures and groupthink, and people absolving themselves of personal responsibility for what is taking place. And this is the perfect opportunity to turn that around and start saying, hey, I'm not going to rely on somebody else to tell me what's best for me. I'm going to go ahead and decide that for myself and act on it and take ownership of the consequences, be they good or bad.
And with that, we're getting these stimulus checks. We are about to get a huge and very costly round of socialism to the tune of $1,200 per person, $2,400 per family, plus $600 per child, whatever it is. There's going to be a huge government influx of money given to the people, and we're going to see where that money goes. granted, a portion is talking about what caliber are you getting your stimulus check in. Others have. I know of a guy who paid off all his credit card debt with his stimulus check, which I kind of thought was funny that he only had enough to cover one stimulus check. Like, those are rookie numbers. Pump them up. But
no, go ahead.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say that, and then there's also people like me that are just sending their stimulus check right back to the IRS because they owe money. So
if I got a check, it would go directly to the government as well. Yeah. Thank you for my money. You can have it back.
Yeah, pretty much. It was like, oh, it's so fleeting.
And it's disturbing to me to see on the Facebooks and the Twitters and the is the Google thing still? Is there association on Google? Anyway, Google Circles, whatever it was.
No, that's a long time ago.
I think one thing she's trying to get at, because we kind of talked about it a little bit, she wants to know if we're trying to use the show to push those values or not.
I try to push the anti-Jew agenda as much as possible. That's all I do here.
All I do is I try to just lead by example. People are free to take it or leave it. I don't really care. They're not.
Yeah, I think
they're not my responsibility.
We're not moral arbiters on this show. We're not value arbiters or anything like that. All we do is we just discuss
We're not
shit
even
and we take it from our. Yeah, exactly. We just discuss stuff and we take it from our perspective and just analyze it. That's it.
So what's the end goal?
Does there have to be one?
Yeah, there is none.
Yes.
Why?
I would like to leave
Otherwise,
the world
it's
a better
just an
place.
exercise in futility.
What's wrong with that?
It's pointless. It doesn't. It's not constructive.
And
it has no point. So what's
there doesn't need to be one
impetus to do a
what
good job?
What is the point of your life?
What is the point
to
of
lead
life?
a good and moral. Well, me personally, or for people in general.
Either or.
Because I think people have been talking about that a long time, but from my circles, it seems to kind of be a good moral life in service of God, usually family, community, that sort of thing.
Okay. How do you know you're right?
Because I'm operating by a set guideline set by the church. Trad Cath over here, sorry.
Set by the wait a minute, by the Catholic Church?
Yeah.
And you
there
think that is
still.
Well, no, and you think that is somehow anything close to related to anything other than a political structure? Number one. Number two, where is its moral compass? Why does that matter? Where is its moral compass? If you're arguing for a moral compass, where that moral compass comes from is ultimately important.
Right. Yeah. It's this thing called the Bible. You might have heard about it. So I don't know, what your beef is, and that doesn't bother me. But my thing is, I just try and do what of am I harming anybody? Am I leading a good and upstanding life? Which to me is something that has value. So I'm either helping other people, or I'm just leading a life that is, productive and doesn't result in harm to others.
Okay. So. But to what end?
Well, one day I'll die. That's the end. But,
Correct.
I'll hope to get to heaven. And that's kind of the end goal, is to get to heaven.
Okay. Does your church have an exclusive knowledge of the only and correct path to get there?
Yeah, it claims to.
It sure does. But is that designed because of the Word of God, or is that designed for the manipulation and control of the masses?
Oh, wow. That's not a loaded question at all.
No, it absolutely is, but I'm not going to fake the funk about it, because that's exactly what the Catholic Church has done for 2,000 years.
Okay.
It's
so
worthwhile to ask what's the purpose of, or what was the end goal of doing so, though, I would say. Because sometimes it's been for the benefit, and sometimes it's absolute power grab.
Right. No, I think that there is a lot of good that people that adhere to a Christian faith can and have done and will continue to do. I'm just saying that when you cite a organization that is based on the power and control of people, is ultimately socialist, and that is not necessarily a good moral compass.
Well, neither is, individualism, if you think about it. If everybody's just looking at what the best thing for themselves is, sometimes parents have to put aside what their, maybe best interests are, if you're looking at it like a selfish perspective, for that of their children, right? You might have to delay gratification, things like that.
There is a difference between individualism and objectivism.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And
what is it?
The objectivism is more that selfish outlook, whereas an individualist can make choices for themselves without compulsory influences to do what is best, not only for them, but for those that they care about, be that children or neighbors, family members, whatever.
yeah, I mean, you could be an individual.
I miss most of that, actually, because it just sounded like a fucking robot from my side. So, but I'll just say okay in the interest of moving on.
Well, no, it's kind of important, because when you say individualism and you immediately associate that with selfishness, that is a misnomer, in that it's not objectivism, which is objectively only what's good for the self, whereas an individualist can make choices to benefit others around them as long as they're not compelled to do so.
Yeah.
Yeah, you join forces with the rest of the people in your area to pave the roads. That helps you out individually, but it helps out the group as a whole.
Okay.
There's a motivating factor behind it. So it's not all about the intent of just me getting mine. It's okay for all of us to mutually benefit from it. However, it goes to a greater degree when you, like, there's just blank platitudes that come out. Like, I saw on a Facebook post that we're all in quarantine right now, and just remember, for those of you who are stuck only with yourselves and your mental illnesses, to be kind to yourself, because you matter. Why do they matter? How is somebody with a mental illness, for instance, how do they matter in a larger scheme of things? Should I care about that person? Well, if it's my aunt, my cousin, my brother, I care about that person. But in a wider context, you pretty much time suck and resources suck if you are mentally disturbed and costing taxpayer money to take your meds because you can't work because you're a crazy person. And unfortunately, my party in the 80s reduced all mental health to nothing, and has greatly affected the country ever since then. So instead of saying 30 years, I should have said 40 years. Because that happened under Reagan. But also what happened under Reagan started under Carter, the Department of Education, which never should have taken place. Federally controlled education for an entire country that is the third largest in the world.
Well, and objectively, those numbers went down after its creation.
Mm-hmm.
Kids have been dumber and dumber ever since.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And some parents are learning that this week because of homeschooling, which now certain professors want to preemptively outlaw once the schools are back in session.
Yeah, because their funding is based on headcount, and when parents realize that they're not doing a very good job, or are so, not to say that they're not all doing a good job, some of them are and some of them aren't, but on the whole of things, the federal mandate for teaching things in a certain way rather than getting to a certain point has left parents in the lurch to do, and this is my beef too, because I got two of them at home now. The state's not doing its job that I literally paid them to do, so they assume that I am going to immediately take over that role for them, even though I've got my own roles to play in providing for this family. And if I'm going to take over those roles, I'm okay with that, but I'm going to do it the way I see fit, not the way they see fit. And I'm not going to pay them anymore.
In Michigan, I have a friend from Michigan who they are now every Wednesday giving the kids a week's worth of food, breakfast and lunch. So every Wednesday she has to go to the school to pick up the food for the kids.
Yeah, they're doing the same thing here.
Yeah.
Which for families in need, that's a good thing, but the methodology is screwy, and it's also not the mandate of the Department of Education to be feeding children.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I can go back to that story. My nephew threw away his retainer once, and we had to dumpster dive to the school cafeteria garbage to get it back, and bags full of veggies and fruits and milks were tossed because the kids didn't eat them. So there is an extreme amount of waste going on.
Mm-hmm.
But any path that the government wants is the path the government wants, and anything can change that in the quickest of instances. We just had 40 years of globalism killed by a virus. But on the other hand, in 2008, we had Obama pushing for the Affordable Care Act, and Romney, who is the only Republican to ever institute a form of health care for a state. So in 2008, one way or another, we were getting health care to take over a sixth of the American economy. And one president later, he's completely revoked the ACA. Or that's my understanding of it. Anybody have any thoughts, questions, comments, concerns?
Not really. I mean, I think basically I'm in agreement with Sean on this. I mean, I think individualism is very important. An individual can choose whether or not to benefit himself or help benefit others, or both A and B. But in being inherently selfish is obviously not a good thing. So, yeah.
Well, we all are. I mean, and that's the lie of socialism, is that the people that I know that are dyed-in-the-wool true socialists want stuff for nothing. They want to benefit themselves off of what their programs they think that they're pushing for in a socialist manner will provide them. They're not thinking. They're not really thinking of other people when they say that. They're literally thinking, well, I want a piece of that, so I'll just give it to everybody, and then that way I get it too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. For instance, I have no children, but I live next to a school, and as of right now, it's 9:25, and
Wait a minute. Aren't you supposed to be like 400 feet away from a school?
It doesn't count at my house. I do have to leave the back door, but it's completely different.
Oh, okay.
Ass. The lights are on for a scheduled game tonight, and there's no game because of quarantine. But the lights are still on. I'm paying for that electricity, and all it is shining through my windows, pissing me off. Now, I'm not against the fact that I have to pay a millage, because it does help children in general. But I'd like to not be paying for those lights right now. Because
so again, I guess what's the solution? And for me, I think back to smaller communities is something that we should probably be striving for, because on a country's scale like the United States, it's too damn big. We aren't cohesive. We don't have even a unified language anymore. It's impossible to rule a nation like this to the minute level that they want to do it. So I guess what I'm pushing is like, what can we do to, form this sort of society and the sort of communities that we want to live in that are better managed and make just more sense. Do you see what I mean?
There's too much. I'll agree with you on this. There's too much focus on the federal level and not enough focus on a local level. I think if we became more focused on a local level and helped our own more granular communities, we'd be in a better spot.
Yeah, but they've also complicated things to the point where you can't do a lot of those things.
Yeah, there's not enough money there.
Yeah. After World War II, they decided they didn't want to have another world war. So they've gotten countries so intertwined with other countries financially that it would destroy entire continents, financial systems, to go to war with each other. That is why China holds so much of our debt. That's why certain areas are beholden to others. It's part of the World Health Organization's plan. It's part of the UN's plan. It's part of all of these, the EU's plan to keep us from destroying each other, even though that sometimes needs to happen to, just for funsies, really, or to punish somebody for the wrongs they've committed. We can't go into the Philippines and kill Duarte, who's now saying, if you're breaking curfew, we can shoot you in the face.
Yeah, this is true.
Which I appreciated when it was, if you sell drugs, we can shoot you in the face.
In the face.
Well,
You shoot 5 drug dealers, we give you a gun to shoot them in the face.
Yeah. But, you out on the street, after curfew, we shoot you in the face.
Yeah, so it goes from, hey, I agree with this guy, drug dealers are bad, to, whoa, dude, that's regular people. We like regular people. Stop shooting people in the face, man. What's wrong with you? But they it's a one thing that's really helping right now is Trump, who is saying, you want to put a regulation in place, delete 2 bullshit regulations. Like you take 2 away, we can add your 1.
Yeah, he's just not saying that
2,
loud enough.
shit, make it 3. Hell, make it 5.
He's just not saying it loud enough. He doesn't say it loud enough nor often enough.
Mm-hmm. And as far as dictator Trump goes, he's aside from the random "I am the absolute power," hailed me, which was interesting. He watched it back later in the week since last week.
Yeah,
but
it was an ineloquent defense of the power of the presidency.
Yeah,
and he personalized it rather than leaving it out there as that. But it's not that he was wrong; it's that it was wrong for the president to have all that power to begin with.
Yeah, but he didn't personalize it. He pointed out that it's not me; it's the office of the president. So while he did localize it, like it's I don't have power, but the guy sitting in my chair does. So yeah, it's like that's you, sir.
Yeah, right now that is you, in fact.
But
I do like the fact that during this pandemic, he and his administration, instead of taking federal control and running with it, he pushed it back on the governors, and I think that was the right thing to do because,
fuck yes.
As much as I don't like Cuomo as the governor of New York, I have to admit that for New Yorkers, his approach and his methodology worked better for them than a federal response would have worked for them. And his approach in New York is absolutely the wrong thing for me here in Arizona. But I don't have to worry about it because he can't do anything to me here in Arizona. It's Ducey I have to worry about.
Yeah, you do.
Well, the side effect, the negative effect of that is people like Whitmer and where else has this been pretty bad as far as governors go? I know she's the worst.
Well, yeah, there's Minnesota as well, or not Minnesota, Montana. He'll jump on anything that anybody's restricting.
Yeah, that's true.
Pennsylvania is another bad one. New Jersey, but they deserve it.
Yeah.
Well, they also have more. Those. Well, I mean, the New York Metroplex is where this thing hit the hardest for Americans.
Mm-hmm. And New Jersey is often running through the Metroplex.
Yeah, no, I mean Newark is a suburb of NYC, and for all intents and purposes, so is Philadelphia. It's because it's all the same metro area.
Yeah, all right. But yeah,
So the point remains is that you really do have to be careful who you elect to your local government, because the more power you give them, the more they can influence, and the more stupid shit they can pull like this.
mm-hmm. Whitmer was so concerned about making Trump look like the bad guy that she came off as evil. And not only will Trump be reelected in 2020, she's gone in 22.
I don't think she's aware of what she's done. That's the rub. I don't think that these people understand.
Well, she has
what
walked it
they've
back.
done. Yeah, but not until it became so obvious, because people were beating up over her and re-questioning her. And are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? And that's when she finally glommed on to the fact that, hey, maybe this isn't the right thing.
Maybe you shouldn't pay people to build shirts that say "that woman from Michigan" while we're in a quarantine.
You don't think she just got power drunk and lost sight of things?
I think she was bucking for the Vietnam.
I think she was probably pushing to get more federal funding. I'm sure.
No, well, yes, both. I think both things are accurate. The key to a good vice president is pulling your state into the fold of the party, and we lost. We gained Michigan, as usually we don't have Michigan as the Republican Party. Michigan went to Trump. Hillary didn't do shit to get it anyway, but they saw what was coming and they went with Trump for 2016. They will again in 2020. They saw that in 2017, Obama's it put an end to Obama's aid in destroying the unions, because the unions were shutting down factories in key states to cause economic trouble for those states in an effort to, while still the union was getting paid, it hurt the workers, and the workers would then seek the aid of the Democrats, and that was exposed, and that really burned them. They're not happy with that.
Right. Well, I got to hop off here. Everybody have a wonderful night, and I'll
Take
talk
care.
to you guys later.
See ya.
Have a good. Hate to watch him leave. Love to watch him go.
He bombed off early tonight.
Yeah.
I
wonder
do
what
hope
that video was.
Yeah, I do hope that this helps solidify the course change that was started back in 2017 when Trump took office, and that we're going to get away from this globalist nonsense. Or if we can turn globalism from what it currently is into a more American-centric, we're going to go ahead and export what's good about America, like our First Amendment and our Second Amendment. The third one is probably a good one too, in the case of China, where they're actually quartering commissars with people. But it's a little antiquated for us.
Hey, wait! You welded the doors of the building, but you didn't let the commissar in first? Oh, you guys, you're not following instructions at all.
Okay, but can we all agree that if we would have made this extremely local, like leave it up to mayors to decide whether or not they're going to quarantine towns, cities, and localities on an individual basis, it would have been better off? I think it would.
That's too small. See, you got the mayors contacting the in Tennessee. You've got county mayors as well, and they would talk to the city mayors, and it's too broad to have every city contacting every other city. But if you've got the 24, 25 counties all talking to each other, it's not as bad as the 723 cities talking to each other. So 25 calls a day.
Even like in my state, the only places that are really hard hit are New Orleans Parish and Jefferson Parish, which are one beside the other. So, and
Yeah.
the next one is East and West Baton Rouge parishes, because East Baton Rouge Parish has Baton Rouge, and the other side's right across the river. A lot of small businesses run on the other side of the river as well. Everywhere else is a rural area. There's only 5 major cities in the state of Louisiana that I can think of off the top of my head, and only 2 of them are seeing significant cases.
Well,
Or
and
six-
that's going to be the untold narrative, is that maybe densely populated cities are a bad idea.
Yeah, maybe. And
Especially
another
now,
thing, like,
especially now
Yes,
with the
so-
technology we have everybody's working from home. Why does everybody need to live on top of each other if they can all work from home?
yeah, I just had, I just spent a month having my kids Zoom with their teacher. Why do the G20 need to meet in person?
Okay, well, the case I'm still going to make is the one clear thing that makes this thing spread is congregation. The reason that New Orleans is fucked the way it is because they ran Mardi Gras despite being advised not to. Well, I don't know. Were they even advised not to? I don't think Trump
Yes.
told them, but somebody probably told them. And the reason that New York is fucked the way it is because of their public transit. That's it.
Well,
That's-
that and Trump closed down, banned Chinese travel at the end of January, and beginning of March, a month later, they're having Hug a Chinaman Day.
Well, that goes back to do you think you should give it to the mayors? Absolutely not. Bill de Blasio is proof positive that that's a galactically bad idea.
Yeah, and Nancy Pelosi,
But still, I would say
not
probably
mayor.
if you did do it, probably 90% of or 95% of America even would not be on lockdown, because almost everywhere is a rural area or so sparsely populated that we're physically distancing by default. It's not a big issue. Just don't go to church, don't go to concerts, and don't do anything in big groups, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, there's going on. We just had a protest in Michigan, where they all got in their cars and they honked around the Capitol building. And the Democrats are posting, okay, so you had your little unnecessary protest. Now I want you to sign this affidavit that says I reject help if I get COVID-19. That's not how it works. I have the right to be healed just the same as everybody else.
Is it a right though?
Health, yeah. If we have to pay for the illegals, then it's a freaking right.
Yeah, well,
Well, the right to assemble is what I was talking about, but I have that right to peaceably assemble. So
yeah, okay. So
you,
that sheriff or mayor or governor or whatever it was said that protesting is not essential activity.
essential.
That person needs to fall on a sword, because you are playing the wrong game in the wrong place. If you think that you can actually utter those words and not immediately go, shit, no, I'm sorry, I fucked that up. That was fucking retarded. If you're not doing that immediately as it falls out of your mouth, you're playing the wrong game in the wrong place. You need to get out.
Who was on Tucker Carlson? Who said I wasn't thinking of the Bill of Rights at the time? Like, is that your first thought?
It
leader.
is literally your job. You take an oath to the Constitution. Yeah. That's part of it.
You didn't swear an allegiance to the pharmacies.
Yeah, that is part of your oath of office, and you have violated it. You're done here. Go home. You're fired.
From a cannon.
Well, that's why a few weeks ago, if I don't know if y'all listen to the Wednesday show still, but a few weeks ago,
No.
I figured. But anyway, I asked Matt, does the federal government have the ability to enforce constitutional mandates on the states? Because that's the case I was trying to make was anybody who serves in public office swears an oath to the Constitution of the U.S. and their own state constitution.
Yes, that's
So
literally
first
their
and foremost-
job.
That's what I'm saying.
That's literally the federal government's job, is to make sure the states follow the Constitution and vice versa.
Well, that's the thing we were trying to figure out. He's not entirely sure that you can. If so, the other question I asked him, if they don't follow the Constitution, what is the repercussions as far as what the federal government can do to that particular public servant?
The first and foremost thing they do is they pull funding, because that's literally the only power that Congress has.
They can't. So
They
can't
shouldn't. And in my, this is pie in the sky, and I understand that this isn't how it works in reality, but this is how it should work. You should fund your locality. Your locality should fund its county. The county should fund the state, and the state should fund the Fed, not the other way around. But the problem is with the 18th Amendment, 13th Amendment, 13th Amendment, that shit got turned upside down.
Yep. See, it's the president's job is to enforce the Constitution. The Congress's job is to make laws that are coincide with the Constitution, and the judicial job is to say whether or not what was put into law is or is not constitutional. And that's the circle of life we're supposed to be living in. So yes, it's absolutely the president, the enforcement arm of the presidency, to make sure the states are following the Constitution. And occasionally build a border or two. Send a tax a tariff. His number one job is to protect the Constitution. Everyone's job in government is to protect the Constitution. The only downfall of the Constitution is that there were not explicit punishments for not protecting the Constitution.
Well, the thought is that the civic body politic would be astute enough to replace their representatives should they falter in their duty.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody does.
Yeah. Hopefully, we see a change in that. If Florida doesn't like what DeSantis did with giving the WWE carte blanche to operate as an essential service while firing a fuck ton of wrestlers, then that's their thing. Vote DeSantis out. If they don't like Whitmer saying you can't buy seeds, or whatever state put a sandlot where the skate park used to be, which is some bullshit.
Yeah, did you see what happened there though?
They had a beach day.
Well, not only that, but then this morning there was video out of people cleaning it out, bucket by bucket.
Oh yeah, I'd put that shit right on the city hall stairs.
Yeah, but then they got to haul it all that way when the beach is literally right there.
Did they take it from the beach?
You didn't see the video of it being done? It was literally a front loader pushing beach sand from the beach that is literally right there into the skate park.
That wasn't.
It's not like they trucked in sand to do it. They literally just moved beach 100 yards up into the skate park.
Yeah, that person should be fired, whoever she is. I'm assuming her name is Karen.
I was going to say Susan, but sure.
It's quite the quandary. Where the hell did Sarah go? I wonder how her dinner's going.
She had to go eat.
Oh, yeah. I'm the fat dickhead. Hey,
Why are you?
if
why
you're
are you the
still
fat
listening
dickhead?
there, sweet tits, I'm not fat. Number 2, I don't think I'm smart. I fucking know it.
Oh, arrogance. Yes. Yes.
Why? Why are we? Who's the fat dickhead? What's
Check
going on?
the check the gun club. I mean, I'm not gonna shit on either of you. You both have your perspectives for your own reasons. I just don't care.
She's not gonna blow you, dude.
I don't give a shit. She is married. I don't care.
Okay.
Yeah. Uh, You mistake me for just chasing around people to make friends. I mean, I don't know. I was just curious to see what people say.
Well, she made it interesting. I'll give her that much.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she came on.
Why do you always?
She came on to our stream and told us that we had no purpose. It's like,
Well, yeah,
okay,
that's what
bitch.
she was talking to me about before, and I was like, it doesn't have to have a purpose. We just do this to do this. Who gives a shit?
Right.
Yeah,
Get it.
my mother was not a princess, and my father was not a general, and they did not have me to take over the world. I'm not David Hogg.
True.
Like there was no purpose. It was like, baby, it's Valentine's Day. You want to kiss this dick or not? And then 9 months later, there isn't a purpose. The only reason I'm here is because my mom doesn't suck dick. That's how I got here. Just kidding. I have a great purpose.
So that one won't be coming back, apparently.
I thought it was interesting, but still.
I thought it was interesting too. It's unfortunately she can't take dissent.
Yeah, she has to have a way. But whatever. Like I said, it was interesting. If she comes back, great. If not, great. We will continue.
Yeah, we're not changing the damn thing because it's pointless.
See. So Donald Trump, trust China. China is so.
But I mean, I did enjoy her stimulating the conversation. I got to say that much.
Okay.
She could have done it in a much more congenial manner.
Yeah,
sure.
I don't think you're out of line, but I'm saying right now that the downvote we got was because of you.
Excellent.
Usually that's
badges
mine,
of fucking honor. Somebody at least watched.
Aww.
The conversation, I guess she's welcome anytime or no?
I'm not against having her back. I'm not against having anybody back. Except for mandatory carry, but don't tell him because he has guns. I don't know if he's still here.
You find some freaking loons, man.
Hey, they are everywhere. All you have to do is browse Matt's Discord. They're everywhere. That's who we ought to have is fucking the socialist. What's his name? Thon Boy? That would be a good time.
It could be interesting. I'll give it that.
Bryden had some loons on when he was I miss Bryden's live streams. We had a guy talking about dark crystal energy once. I was like, I'm sorry, what? That powers the Earth. I'm not sure if you know what copper wire in a circulating motion is across a magnet, but that's actually what powers, not dark crystal energy.
Dude, maybe he's into the Skeksis theory. Who knows?
Or who was the chick? Marianne Williamson. That might have been his candidate.
Is Dan still here? Dan, you fucker, for funding Marianne Williamson. I don't even know how many times he donated to her just because she's hilarious. Yeah. I would hug the shit out of the president until he no longer shit. Because I will defeat him with love.
I kind of liked her attitude. I mean, she's a complete loon, don't get me wrong. I mean, has no place in public service. But I did like the fact that they let her have her say.
No, you got to watch women like that who
took it from a different perspective. I enjoyed the conversation for sure.
Yeah, I mean the plus side is when she tries to keep you in the relationship by having a baby by drinking chaga tea and putting 3 crystals on our bellies after you have sex, it's probably not going to help. But I don't trust her.
Makes the nighttime interesting.
I watched the last thing I actually binged was Dharma and Greg. 4 out of the 5 seasons. I couldn't do the 5th season. But she was absolutely lovable, and her hippy dippy parents were still lovable. I was like, I miss people like that. Not everybody sucks.
Yeah, man. This just goes to show you that there's intolerance everywhere you look now. People are more confrontational and intolerant of dissent than ever before. Like, we used to all get along pretty well, even if we disagreed with each other, and we could say that. We could say, I don't agree, but I don't think less of you for it. I mean, even if I do think less of you for it, it's no sweat off my balls.
Wasn't that kind of the way that we operate anyway? Was you do you, boo boo?
Yeah, that's the thing too. Is you need to be allowed to just do you. And for some people, that means complete debauchery and shit that not many people would find appealing or worthy. Other people might live a saintly life. I don't care. You're not better than me.
If All in the Family was on right now, Meathead would be the star, as he was supposed to be. And he would not only be blocking about how awful Archie was, but actively rooting for his house to burn down. The house that he lives in to burn to the ground because of the racist, sexist, homophobic, anti-Semitic piece of shit who's paying all of his bills.
Maybe. But again, for the time, that's kind of what was needed for society at the time, to build a more tolerant, accepting society. Because some of the things Archie was against needed to go away.
They still need to go away.
And for the most part, they have. That's the thing, is that there's a certain contingent of the society that is just going to shift their goals once their goals are achieved. They take no relish in actual victory or winning. They don't even acknowledge that they've succeeded.
Because it hasn't been shifted enough for their liking. Like, they're just grabbing the Overton window and pulling to the left as far as they can. Because eventually it'll get there. So, like, that's what it's down to the smokers. Well, we don't want smoke in our food when we're eating. And now you're 100 feet away from any federal stairs or entrances. No matter what, they keep going.
Well, that's the least innocuous of them, and you know what I mean? It's not that I disagree with it. I think it should be left to the business owner. If the business owner wants to allow it, it's their goddamn property. You have a choice to eat there or not. Exercise your rights, let them exercise theirs, find the happy medium, or don't. Either way, everybody is served.
Yeah, no bar wanted to remove smoking because there are people out there who only smoke when they drink. And
that was me for 10 years.
Like they weren't part of the let's get rid of the smoking ban thing, but there's certain clubs and stuff where they now give you a disposable glass of water because they're not allowed to have ashtrays. Yeah, like you see a cop, you put that out.
All right, the whole thing with this lockdown thing is that it's not optional. That's the problem. Is it a good idea? Yeah, I'm not even going to argue that it's not. It probably is a good idea. The problem is that you're saying that under penalty of law you must. Excuse me?
It's more of a guideline, really.
Yeah, exactly. Here it is, thank God. But I have a letter that say that if I ever get stopped on my way to work, I get to show the cop and say, nope, I'm an essential employee. I have to go to the office.
They wanted to give out badges for us. I was like, no, that's stupid. A piece of paper will do.
Badges? We don't need no stinking badges.
We don't need no stinking badges. Yeah, it's just a cluster fumble. I can dig it.
Can you?
I
I
can.
should probably mute that, huh?
I saw a meme the other day. I was for you. It's like, Warriors, stay 6 feet away. I got nothing. We're at about an hour.
Are we?
Anybody got
That
anything?
was a fast one. Nah, man, I'm
So-
still in the fighting mood.
All right, start a new topic. Kick your ass.
Well, I gotta say, I've been killing time because I was behind by a little over a month on Freedom Tunes. I didn't even realize how many he had made in such a short time. But man, he had some very good ones come out. Bernie Drops Out is probably the best one he's done in a while. If you haven't seen it, it's just hilarious.
He's not that good in my opinion. It's not that he's bad. He's not that he's bad. He's actually talented and he's putting forth effort, so I don't want to besmirch that. It's just that I don't find him that humorous.
Oh, Mikey's here. That second no vote. That one's mine. That
Yeah,
first
Bernie
one.
Drops Out, that one was actually pretty funny.
I haven't watched him in a while.
Oh, I enjoy his stuff. I should have kept up on him more. I guess maybe YouTube shadow banning him or something because I wasn't getting notifications.
I went down these. My buddy and I share a YouTube, and I went to my watch history because I started playing a Crowder video, and I ended up going to the next video, and I saw this thing on Asian street food, and I was like, oh, well, what the hell's this about? So I watched it, and I went down a rabbit hole of Asian street food for like 3 solid days. And it is it's innovative. It's some of it's brilliant, some of it's disgusting, like the wet markets. I now know way too much about wet markets, and they are the fucking sickest things on this earth. But I saw one, and I thought, like, my God, that is so entrepreneurial. This they were making this chicken that had shredded coconut. And it was so popular, they had to. There literally was a station to shred the coconuts for the meal, and the entrepreneurial nature of these people were like free coconut water with every order. And the only reason they did that was because they couldn't dispose of the coconut. Like they had to store all their. It was a street market, so they didn't have a sink or anything. So they would have to put, because I saw another thing that was ramen soup, like right before it, and the ramen soup was a dry soup. So they would drain the noodles and pour it into a garbage can sized bucket. And they had to stop and move it to a new bucket because they had to store the water. They couldn't just pour it on the street or anything because it's sticky and starchy and would make the place smell. But the coconut water people who were giving away free coconut water was like, here, you throw away our garbage for us. Either drink it or toss it yourselves. I was like, you guys are brilliant. That's like giving a gag banana peel to every kid who orders a banana sundae. You want a banana split? Here's a free banana peel. You throw that away in your own time.
Or smoke it.
Yeah. Smoke the banana peel?
You haven't heard about smoking banana peels?
Yeah,
No.
Lord.
I've heard about bananas in the tailpipe.
Yeah, smoking banana peels was a thing that you could technically get high from, but it's not worth the effort.
Oh, good. I wonder how many people just had banana in the tailpipe go over their head. Raise your hand, Chad, if you know what a banana in the tailpipe is.
Steven does.
I want to know how old I am. Mike's hands don't count because those were there beforehand. Hands beforehand. That's what I was saying. Good Lord. but oh man, the the vending machines over in Japan, like some of them are amazing. Pizzas, um, full salads that get made themselves, omelet bars, just craziness. So sometimes I feel like Japan's living in the future, and then other times they eat, what was it, Blackwood ear fungus soup. Like, nope, never mind. You guys are definitely backwards. One of the vending machines was celebrating 70 years in business. They started in 1949. That's 4 years after we bombed them. And they've managed to been going strong for 70 years.
Good for them.
Good on you.
We
Yeah.
used to have those things here where it was, I forgot what the name of the actual thing was, but they were basically a big wall of stuff that had a cafeteria behind it, and they would just put things into the slots, and then you would buy whatever slot you wanted to eat.
Oh yeah, they got fully automated restaurants that are just vending machines.
They've taken the Dippin' Dots into the future, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they were called automats.
Automats, that's what they were, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that was. I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. So yeah, rabbit hole. 3 fucking days. But there's this one. It's called Dancing Bacon. Is the channel name, and I think the guy has like literally made a career out of it because he buys like everything in the vending machine. And he's got this this chubby cheeked girlfriend or assistant or his wife. I don't particularly know what it is. But when they go to the street fair, you know, he's got the camera and they watch the food get made and then she eats it. And you know, she's Asian and shy, so she's always smiling and nodding. But you can tell how good it is by like if her eyes brighten up and she nods and occasionally she makes a mm-hmm. But because she's Asian, she's always polite about it. So you're like, no, she didn't like that, even though she's smiling and nodding. Well, it's like, oh, they got me once on. I thought they were making a breaded chicken, but it was a 3-piece shark fillet. It's like, ah, damn it, you got. I would have ordered that too. Son of a bitch. 3-piece shark fillet, by the way, 94 cents American.
What?
94 cents.
Nice.
Yeah. And it was like 3 chicken breasts. Not like full chicken breasts, like half chicken breast. Like you cut it in half and because that's how it fries fast. So 3 pieces though. Like that's what, 10 chicken nuggets at Burger King for $1? It was bigger than that.
Ones.
I was impressed as hell. Some of it was incredibly entertaining. I mean, of course I was. I did it for 3 freaking days. I've gotten behind on everything.
Well, what's there to fall behind on? All the news is literally coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and other than the fact that we need to start returning to normal, and there are a ridiculously large amount of people that are too scared to do so, there's really not anything to talk about.
Could talk about Joe Biden again. He's always gaffing.
I just feel sorry for the coot.
I know.
Like,
you really forced to do it or no?
No, I think nobody's told him no. I think he's got the same problem that all high-profile stars get. Is nobody's willing to say no because they are the gravy train for some people.
Yeah, and you know, if you're politically ambitious, you go to DC and you push the people and their freaking fetishes. No, it's normal. Keep going, Joe. But yeah, you can tell that his wife is complicit by like her coming up and rescuing him when he's just fucking off his walls with looking around his own studio because he doesn't understand where he is. I got stopped by a cop yesterday who asked why I was out. I asked if he was detaining me. When he said no, I wished him a good day and walked off. He stood there stupefied. Oh. Frickin' works for me. Dispatch, I'm gonna need backup. This guy knows the Constitution better than I do. When I was a kid, I used to use cops as a ride home when I was out after curfew. And then I would casually mention to them, like right before we got to my house, how I have the right to be out and about. And there's no such thing as curfew. But thank you for the ride home. Feel free to talk to my parents. Like, they're the ones who taught me.
Yeah, because we can do that. Hang on, I need Marianne Williamson and some crystals.
What do you communing with my parents from beyond the grave?
Yeah, that would be what we would have to do.
You know what? Oh, gin and tonic makes your foot fall off. I'm Team Josh now.
Luckily, I am still a long way off from that.
Seriously, how bad do you have to drink that you no longer drink something?
Well, there's only two things that I can do that I've done that with. One is gin and tonics. That was the worst headache I've ever had. Holy shit, that one was terrible. And then the other one is Beam and Coke, and I still like the taste of Beam and Coke until I've had more than 2 sips, and then I'm like, oh god.
Oh yeah, never mind. I've actually I've avoided Southern Comfort for like 20 years, so all right, I can forgive you.
Yeah. Zima's another one. Thank God that went the way of the dinosaur.
Do we have anything else? Can we skedaddle?
We could probably.
I do want to plug one other YouTube channel real quick. So I don't
to the 6 people watching. Sure, go ahead.
Absolutely.
I appreciate the swell of views.
10. We're up to double digits, boys.
Hey now, watch them. I don't give 2 shits about Joe Exotic or Tiger King or any of that crap. I don't.
No, that's fair. You haven't watched it. You can't not care.
I can still not care. I'm not going to watch it. I don't.
You should.
You don't know
it's
that.
a beautiful train
You don't
wreck.
know that you care.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a beautiful train wreck.
I don't care. It's the train wreck I really don't want to see because there's a lot of explosions and a lot of bullshit. Hey, what the hell? You ended? Oh no, you didn't end it. Okay.
Let's cut this nonsense off at the core.
Yeah. No, Flash Gets put out a parody of Tiger King and Animal Crossing. So I don't get either reference, but it's still funny as hell. I laugh my ass off. So if you want to check something out that's pretty good, I will drop it in the comments or in the live chat rather.
What?
For everybody to
You
check
found
out.
something
Why
you
is,
didn't understand hilarious.
Yeah, why? I don't get why this guy's making this guy smoke meth and then talk about his butthole.
Well, that's one of the points they come up with. It's fucking awesome. Oh, wait a minute.
I don't get to. Is that a Tiger Crossing reference? Yeah, I can see that being a problem. All right, let's skedaddle. Hold on, I gotta copy the hangout
Don't you
link.
beat me to it. Gotcha.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Derek.
Good night, everybody.
All right, we're out.
All right.
Sweet.
We've been out for 2 minutes. Fuck you, Garrick.